Hello, beautiful creatives. I have had, so if you're a patron, you know that I had a very bad mast cell and SIBO flare. It actually happened early on in January, and it was one of the worst and most painful ones I've had in recent memory anyways. And it totally incapacitated me. But if you remember my talk at the beginning of January about hope, I reflected back on that message that I gave about hope in that New Year's video a lot during that flare, because you guys know, especially my patrons know, that I had made all these plans and I was feeling extremely hopeful, and I was starting to put work back out there in shops and things like that. So, and selling work again. So, I could have let it completely tank me, and it was hard. It was really, really hard, but I needed to take a couple of weeks off. So what I have here is an older video. It's a video, I have a bunch of videos that I filmed during the December giveaway that I was doing. That took up the whole month of December, but I was still filming a little bit. Most of that was for my patrons. I have fallen into confusion about my Patreon again, because when I work really hard to get those videos done and I post those videos done, I'm not getting interaction on Patreon. If I post the same video on YouTube, I get tons of interaction. I just can't quite figure out the phenomenon that's going on there. So what I'm going to do is, this was a Patreon video that I'm about to post for you guys. I've re-edited it and taken out some of the more personal things, because I tend to share more personally on Patreon, and I've turned it into a YouTube video. As it stands right at the moment that I'm filming this, it's a short video. Today's Friday. If I'm going to get it out for today, I would have to sort of end it here and go in and do the final editing and then try to get it uploaded. I would have liked to have added the swatching to it, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think that's going to have to be another week. And then all these other videos that I have in the can ready to be edited, I'm going to have to figure out if I'm going to put them on Patreon or if I'm going to put them on YouTube. I have a different way of editing for Patreon, so I don't know. That my Patreon videos are more informal and more sort of like I'm talking to you one-on-one, which you'll kind of see in this video that I'm sharing. I also have, and I talked about this in my New Year's video, I actually am working on my own work more. As you can see, I've got some stuff on the easel. I actually did film part of those processes for Patreon. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that footage now, but I am focused a little more on giving myself some more time to get some of my own work done, which feels really good. I'm just actually back into the studio. I just came up yesterday, actually, after, gosh, I think it was a couple of weeks of being down with that mast cell. So I'm excited to be back. I'm really starting to feel better. Today's like, it's just been progressively getting better. This flare has been dying down, and today's the first day that I really feel like I am definitely coming out of this, and it's going to be good. And I've had people say to me before, and since my channel is geared towards people with chronic illness, I'll share this here. A lot of times when we have a spell where we feel good, we get really excited and we make big plans. And I understand that we have to be careful with that, because I am an overdoer. When I feel good, I'm an overdoer, and I know a lot of you are too. But I think it's so important to keep up hope and to keep up the belief that we are getting better, that we are going to have really good days when we can function and do things. Because I have found in the periods where my flares were very long and very debilitating, and I could not, like this last flare, I was having a lot of difficulty walking. It was difficult for me to just walk across the room. I needed a lot of help getting things done, just daily things, self-care things done. It was a difficult flare, but I made sure that I kept in the forefront of my mind how good I felt when I gave you guys that New Year's message and how filled with hope I was, because it's so important that we visualize ourselves being well, that we keep our nervous systems, we keep training our nervous systems to know that we do have periods of feeling well, that we can feel well, that our nervous systems and our bodies do remember what it feels like to feel well. So I hung on to that. I hung on to that really tenaciously during this last flare. And I do feel like, as bad of a flare as it was, I feel like those thoughts, those positive thoughts and visualizations helped me pull out of it faster. I'm also doing the Heart Math Institute meditations. For Christmas, I gave myself the little thing that you put on your ear, and the heart monitor or something like that, and you do the meditations with that. You don't need it. If you're interested in it, look up the Heart Math Institute, and they have had tremendous success with healing. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but they've had tremendous success with helping people heal from chronic illnesses and severe trauma, childhood trauma issues, dysregulated nervous system issues, with this heart math studies that they've been doing. So I've been working on that, and I feel like that has been helping a lot. So I'm committed to healing this year. I'm committed to furthering my healing, and I'm excited to see what that journey is going to look like and to sharing it with you. Whether I continue on with Patreon or not, I don't know. It's just nice to have that platform where I can share a little more personally, especially as the world gets a little more trollish. It feels dangerous to share too personally on YouTube anymore. So that's something that I would love to hear feedback about. What are your thoughts on that? So anyways, moving on, because this is turning out to be too long of an intro. So in this video, I finally got my Daniel Smith palettes poured and filled, and I'm super excited. This is the granulating one. This is all of my regular Daniel Smiths. This is my entire Daniel Smith collection. And just like I did with my M. Graham collection, I am so super excited to have it all in one place. Every M. Graham I own is here, and every Daniel Smith that I own is in those palettes. And I have been using this nonstop with my dried gouache palette, my Art Toolkit dried gouache palette, in my art nest during this flare. I've been creating every night, even if it's just mark making on paper. No intention of making beautiful art, although sometimes it's coming out nicely, but I'm just allowing myself to create. The other thing I want to talk about, and I'm excited to doing that with these Daniel Smith too, because the granulating will be fun to play with in my art nest. The other thing I want to be sure to say is I want to thank the people who mentioned the blue tack. There were a couple of you when I was using Elmer's glue, which this set still is. In this set, I used Elmer's glue to glue these on, and they stayed really well for a while, but not anymore. They are all peeling off. So what I did was, thanks to your suggestions, I took this whole set, and last night I took all of the magnets off of every pan, and I took strips of blue tack. This comes in strips, and I just stretched the strips out along each row, and I planted the pans. So we'll see how this works. Some of you have said that you've had good results with it. So, right now it's working really well, and it's holding them in place. The thing that I do like better about the blue tack is it's holding them in place in a way that they don't slide around. So I'm able to keep them out from under this little lip that's in here on the top and the bottom. I was able to stick them in a way to avoid hiding part of the pan in that lip. So far it's working really well. I will be swatching the Daniel Smith palettes out in an upcoming video. I have so much content right now, I have to figure out what am I going to put out. I may do some more of these vloggy styles where I just mix things up and put things together, but I will be swatching these out, and I will be making a swatch for the containers like I did here. Okay, I think that's it. And there's just so much to share with you guys. I need to get my energy back, and I'm excited about some of the ideas I have. I have some products that I got for Christmas that I promised you swatching on. I'm still really excited about that. So there's good things coming up. I hope you enjoy the video. Hey guys, look what I am finally getting to. After putting together that M. Graham palette, which I absolutely love. I am loving using that palette in my art nest. And you will have already seen the art nest video by the time this video goes up. So you can see how perfectly it fits into my new art nest setup. But because I'm enjoying it so much, I thought it would be a good idea to get to my Daniel Smith collection. I'm going to be doing 2 palettes with this. 1 palette for the granulating and 1 palette for the non-granulating. The only reason I'm doing it that way is because they won't all fit in the in 1 palette. So I thought it would be a good idea to break it up into 2 palettes. This is actually working out really good. I'm putting them in here while they're drying, and they're magnetized, and this is metal, so it's kind of keeping them safe while I'm going to let them dry. And like I did with the Daniel Smith, with the M. Graham, I have a sheet here, and I'll be writing down the names of everything that's going to go into this palette, so I know where I'm at with all of this. Yeah, it's a task though, isn't it? It's to put together these palettes to fill so many, I had these in order and now I've kind of messed them up. To fill so many pans is, it's a lot of work. It's definitely a lot of work, but it's also really relaxing. We've had in our lives this last, last couple of years, really. But we've had so much going on, and it's just been so stressful. Dawn and I have just been aware of exactly how stressful it's been. And I'm finding this really relaxing. And then you guys know, if you watch the video, you know about the software issues, and last week's video was a nightmare. If you saw it, I went through so many different programs. I'm just not sure what the problem is still, except that when I'm reading the reviews, a lot of these programs are having a lot of trouble with crashing and things like, and corrupting. So I don't know if it's just the nature of the beast or whatever, but it's all been so stressful. And we have some other things going on with the land and the house and the cottage, and it just piles up after a while, and it just feels so overwhelming that it makes even the little mundane things overwhelming. So when I did the M. Graham palette, I was really busy. Something's happening on here. Strange. That something on my iPad just started playing and I can't figure out. I think we have like haunted electronics in our house right now. Everything that can possibly go wrong with the electronics is going wrong. My other studio light, the remote broke. It's just all of a sudden one day stopped working. The exact same thing happened to the light downstairs, but this light that I have here, exact same light, same age as the other ones, is fine. Yeah, just a lot of electronic stuff, software stuff on the computers. I have nothing open here that should be playing. The one screen that I did have open was still on pause and wasn't playing. So I haunted electronics. That's the only thing I can think of. I hope things are going a little more smoothly for you guys in the new year than they are for me. And I know things will calm down, but it sure has been a lot. I have a ton of greens and blues, so I'm trying to decide which color family to do next. And I think I'm going to do the reds because I don't have as many reds, and it'll go faster. And if I complete a color, it's going to make me feel like I'm actually making some progress. But anyways, I really do hope the new year so far is going really good for you guys. when I get this done, oh, actually what I'll do is when I do get this done, when I swatch it, I'll be swatching it in my new Painter's Diary book. So I will actually video that because that's also very calming. I really enjoy swatching things out, but Shadow Violet, isn't Shadow Violet granulating? I don't remember. I thought it was. I might have some granulating ones mixed in here, but I will start with Pyro Scarlet. The, oh, burst out. Wow. Really burst out. The only thing I forgot was when I filled the M gram set, I wanted to try to remind myself not to fill these pans too full, because in this type of palette where there's no divider between the pans, it can get a little tricky if you've really filled them to the absolute brim. When you're painting, you can kind of get your colors polluted. Well, I forgot that. And on the beginning ones, I don't know if you can see it on these, I filled them like to the brim. I mean, they will shrink, but there's going to be some around the rim. The thing with the M gram is it doesn't, because of the honey, I guess, it doesn't shrink as much as the Daniel Smith does. So they stayed really full, and that did make it a little tricky, but I've been using it a lot. So, oh no, it turns out I can't talk and do this at the same time. It's funny how you get concentrating on something and then you can't do it. Maybe I'll do the, since I did the browns, I'll do the Indian red next. Put that next to the browns. The other thing is that's really good about doing something like this is watercolors go bad. A lot of people don't realize that they do, but they can harden in the tube. And this is a perfect example. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. The binder has hardened around the outside. And I've had a couple of tubes that have done this. You got to kind of pick out that blob that's hardened. And then what I do is I try to stick my toothpick down inside there so I can mix, you know, some of the binder from the bottom in with it. I can feel how much this is stiffened up. And so getting your watercolors out into pans is a really good idea, because once they dry, they're going to last. If they're in tube form and you're not an avid watercolorist, you don't move through your tubes, you can lose them. You can have them dry out and have the binders separate. And, you know, with the M gram tubes, sometimes they get really swollen and they burst out of the bottom, and that's no good. Okay, this one is Indian Red, which actually is one of my favorite colors. I really use that a lot. It's a great color for mixing other colors to tone them down. I really enjoy using it that way. I have a baby wipe here, and each time I use a tube, I wipe the top off so that I can get the top off it next time. And stirring them a little bit with a toothpick so that I can mix any binder in and get any air bubbles out. That's helpful. Okay, that's the Indian Red. Next, I'm going to do Permanent Alizarin Crimson. So what have you guys been working on so far in the new year? what kind of projects are you, what medium are you working in, and what kind of projects are you doing? Are you working in mixed media, watercolor, acrylics, oil pastels? I actually have done a bit of all of it so far. Maybe if I remember, I'll show you an oil pastel, mixed media oil pastel. Did I just put Quinn Rose in my permanent alizarin crimson? I think I did. Let me see if I can discernibly see the difference. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay, whew. Just the way I put it down there. Looked like I made a mistake. So apparently I can't talk and do this at the same time. I thought we could sit here and have a nice little New Year chat. But it is apparently beyond my pay grade to be able to do that. Can you hear, I wonder if you can hear Alana in the background. Alana and Toshi are up here with, one of them has a bully stick and one of them has, we got these treats from the feed store. We have a local feed store that we like to support, and they have these treats that are made up of ground up deer horns or antlers. I don't know if it's just deers, but ground up antlers and cheddar and dried cheese. And they make them into these really hard blocks, and it's really good for their teeth. And they don't, bully sticks are expensive, and these deer horn things, they don't go through quite as fast as they do the bully sticks. So anyways, one of them, Toshi tends to go through the bully sticks slower, but Alana loves them. She goes through them like crazy. And, but Alana does really like the deer horn ones. So they both had toys. I'm just looking over. And now Alana has stolen both of them, and Toshi has none. Anyways, I'm going to show you that one oil pastel that I did. As the reference photo came from this workshop that I told you I signed up for, but I didn't feel like, I actually didn't watch the video, the lesson. I didn't watch the lesson. I just liked the reference photo, so I just went ahead and did an oil. It was she painted it in acrylics when she did it in the lesson. That's actually the lesson I'm watching now. But I just went ahead and went crazy with oil pastels and woodies. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen it on Instagram. I think I actually published a reel or a short of it on YouTube too, so you may have seen it. But yeah, that was so much fun to go crazy with the woodies and the oil pastel like that. All right, I gotta take a break. I should check the sound, check the dogs, and I'll show you the oil pastel that I worked on. Are you being greedy, Alana? She stole your toy, didn't she? I'm sorry, Toshi. I'll get you another toy. I'll get you another one. Okay, that's the setup where I did it, and this is the assortment of oil pastels and woody crayons, Stabilo woodies that I used, and this is the oil pastel. It was so much fun to do this. Oh my gosh, I really enjoyed it so much. And I literally just took a piece of old junk paper that I had sitting around and taped it to the foam core. It's actually this. I'm going to be doing a lot more just playful work. This ream of really old, cheap Blick paper. It's ancient. It's probably, it could be 20 years old. This ream of just plain cheap paper. And I just took that and taped it onto that and just went nuts. I just went crazy with it. You know, I taped the reference photo right next to it, and just, the sun is actually coming in at a bad angle, but just played and had fun. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun to do that. But, you know, I think I'm stalling, so I'm going to get back to work and finish filling my pans, or at least get a little further along with it so that I can put this Daniel Smith palette together, because that's going to be exciting. Okay, guys, I can't believe it. I actually got all of the pans filled for my main set of Daniel Smith. Now, all I have to do is my granulating set, which is much smaller than the main set. So yay, that was such a great accomplishment to get done. And it wasn't that painful. It was actually quite relaxing this time. I just found, for some reason, I found the M-gram tiring when I did it. The only thing I did notice with this is I noticed much more binder separation and even color separation, pigment, what appeared to be pigment separation in a couple of them than I did the M-gram. The M-gram seems to be aging better than the Daniel Smith, but, you know, who knows? That could just be coincidence. But so all I have left to do is my granulating set, and not sure I'm going to do that today, but this was a great accomplishment to get done. So I promised myself I wouldn't do any filming or editing this weekend, and I would give myself the whole weekend off, except for answering comments on YouTube, because today's Saturday, my movie published yesterday. But I finished the Daniel Smith. This is the regular set, and this is the granulating set. There are actually 3 Schminke Shire colors in there from a Shire set that I bought, so I put those in there. But yay! So I am done with my M-gram, which is downstairs in my art nest, and my Daniel Smith entire collection. They each have their own palettes. Yeah, this is cool. I mean, it would have been cool if I could have fit all of these together in here, but in one sense I do like having the granulating separate, so it's all good. I got my list so that when I go to make my swatching sheet, I've got them all named by row in order of how I have them. I am super, super, super happy with a job well done. Yeah, so that was a good accomplishment. Anyways, Alana's chomping on her bully stick in the background. I hope it's not too loud. Okay, so I just want to jump on and show you that I did actually finish that up this weekend. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video. And I still have some collaboration products from last year actually that I need to get to show you guys. So those videos are coming up. I just have to figure out the balance between what I'm going to use for old footage that I've filmed and new footage that I have, that I'm going to be filming. And maybe I'll do more of these vloggy style videos where I just sort of put a mishmash of things together. So yes, that is this week's video, kind of an old video put together with a new intro. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Mwah. God bless. Stay creative and stay hopeful. Stay hopeful. Work on your mind to visualize yourself well and not in pain and healthy. It does work. It takes practice, but it does work. Love you guys. Bye.